Welcome to From the Quarries. Ah yes, the timeless intertwining of Freemasonry, the Illuminati, and the New World Order. A treasured triptych of conspiracy theories that always keeps our imaginations churning. Get ready to enter the nebulous, shady, comic book world of the conspiracy theorist.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's presentation, From the Quarries, an archive of Masonic lore.
To start, let's be careful with our terms. When you say there's no evidence linking Freemasonry with the Illuminati and the New World Order conspiracies, well, that's a bit of a loaded statement. Of course, there is no substantiated, peer-reviewed, scholarly evidence that would pass muster in a court of law or an academic journal. But conspiracy theories, by their nature, thrive in the grey areas of evidence, drawing from rumours, speculations, and inferences, rather than verifiable facts. First, let's briefly cover the history of these groups. Freemasonry originated in the late 16th or early 17th century, and became popular for its fraternal structure and symbolic rituals. The Illuminati, on the other hand, were a real group of Enlightenment-era freethinkers, founded in 1776, but they were suppressed and disbanded by the Bavarian government in 1785. As for the New World Order, it's not a formal group at all, but rather a term used to describe a supposed global, typically sinister, power elite. Now, the link between Freemasonry and the Illuminati isn't entirely fabricated. Adam Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati, was indeed a Freemason. However, the groups had different goals and methods, and it's clear from historical records that Weishaupt's Illuminati were disbanded long ago. Freemasonry, on the other hand, continues to exist. The connection between these organisations and the New World Order, however, is quite nebulous, and comes largely from an unverified hypothesis of a global elite secretly controlling world events, usually attributing to them malicious intent. Despite exhaustive research, there is little or no concrete evidence for such a sweeping conspiracy. Yet the allure of these conspiracy theories is strong, perhaps because they provide simplistic explanations for complex societal phenomena. They've been popularised in everything from tabloid covers to blockbuster movies, conflating the historical realities of these groups with sensationalist fiction. In other words, pop culture has been a potent petri dish for growing these myths. Thus, while there's no evidence at all in the traditional sense linking Freemasonry to Illuminati and New World Order conspiracy theories, there's plenty of innuendo, speculation, and misinformation to fuel these ideas. It's important to distinguish between the evidence that scholars and researchers would accept and the so-called evidence that circulates within the world of conspiracy theories. There is a saying in the conspiracy theory community that I find ironically poignant here. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. While this line of thinking can dangerously distort our understanding of reality if taken to the extreme, it also reminds us that the world is more complex and less knowable than we often like to believe. So, dear viewer, don your tinfoil hat if you must, but remember, not all that glitters is New World Order gold. The Bavarian Illuminati is one of history's favourite boogeymen. They're like the Beatles of secret societies, yet few can match their success. Let's begin with the hard facts, which are far less spicy than the rumours. The Illuminati were founded on the 1st of May 1776 by Adam Weishaupt, a professor at the University of Ingolstadt in Bavaria, modern-day Germany. Weishaupt was disillusioned by the Church's stranglehold on philosophy and science, so he sought to create a group that promoted Enlightenment ideals of rational thought, self-rule, and secularism. For a time, it was a magnet for influential intellectuals of the period. Their goals were lofty, even revolutionary for the time. They aimed to oppose religious influence over public life, prevent abuses of state power, and support women's education and equality. Things many of us nowadays might laud rather than lambast. The group was modelled after the Freemasons, and even used Masonic lodges for recruitment, hence the confusion between the two. Despite all the whispers of world domination, the Illuminati were rather short-lived. By 1785, just 9 years after their formation, they were discovered and suppressed by the Bavarian government due to their perceived threat to the monarchy. Weishaupt was forced into exile, and the group largely fell apart. Now, as for the world of conspiracy theory, where the Illuminati never dies, but instead morphs into a global puppet master, things get rather wild. According to these theories, the Illuminati didn't dissolve, but merely went underground, infiltrating governments, banking systems, and even the entertainment industry. They're blamed for everything, from the French Revolution to the assassination of JFK, from the design of the US dollar to the lyrics in a Jay-Z song. If there's a significant global event or cultural shift, you can bet your bottom dollar someone has tied it to the Illuminati. Their alleged methods range from mind control to orchestrating economic crises, and their purported goals are as broad as establishing a new world order or preparing the planet for extraterrestrial takeover. It's worth noting, though, that despite the abundant theories, none has been substantiated by any compelling empirical evidence. But then again, that's the charm of conspiracy theories, isn't it? They thrive in the shadows of uncertainty, fueled by a potent mix of fear, distrust, and the all-too-human need to make sense of a complex world. So, while there's no historically validated, peer-reviewed proof of the Illuminati's continuing existence or influence on world affairs, their legend has certainly proven to be illuminating. Here are some specific conspiracy theories involving their purported influence on world affairs. The French Revolution. Some theorists suggest that the Illuminati orchestrated the French Revolution as part of their grand plan to overthrow monarchies and establish a new world order based on Enlightenment ideals. The design of the US $1 bill. Conspiracists claim that the symbols on the US $1 bill, specifically the all-seeing eye atop the pyramid, are signs of the Illuminati's hand in the founding of America. The assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy in 1963. This theory suggests that President John F. Kennedy was murdered specifically because he intended to expose the Illuminati's control over the US government. The moon landing of 1969. According to some, the moon landing was an elaborate hoax perpetrated by the Illuminati to win the Cold War and to demonstrate the superiority of the New World Order. The 9/11 attacks of 2001. One of the more offensive theories suggests that the Illuminati orchestrated the 9/11 terrorist attacks to justify a state of perpetual war and increasingly invasive security measures. The establishment of the European Union in 1957. According to some theories, the Illuminati were behind the formation of the EU as a stepping stone towards a single global government. The global financial crisis of 2007-2008. This theory proposes that the Illuminati manipulated the world economy to cause the global financial crisis as a means of further consolidating their economic power. Illuminati symbolism in popular music and in film. Pop icons like Beyoncé, Lady Gaga, and Jay-Z are often accused of using Illuminati symbols in their work, supposedly indicating their membership and influence in spreading Illuminati ideals. The COVID-19 pandemic. In the world of conspiracy theories, the pandemic is seen by some as an Illuminati plot to control the population through fear, quarantines, and mandatory vaccinations. The New World Order, the mythical monolith, the crown jewel of conspiracy theorists' imaginations, the all-encompassing explanation for the world's woes. Unlike the Bavarian Illuminati or the Freemasons, there's no exact date of birth, founding father, or specific organisation to pinpoint, and yet it is, in some respects, the most pervasive of all these theories. The term New World Order, or NWO, itself, has been used in various contexts throughout history. Woodrow Wilson employed it post-World War I, hoping for a new era of international cooperation. George H.W. Bush uttered it in 1990, referencing the geopolitical landscape following the end of the Cold War. Yet neither of these instances had anything to do with a clandestine, globe-dominating elite. In the realm of conspiracy theory, the NWO narrative runs deep and wide. It usually refers to the rise of a secretive, totalitarian world government controlled by a small group of elites. The goals of this New World Order vary greatly depending upon whom you ask. They range from the establishment of a single global currency, to population control via vaccines, to the imposition of a single world religion. Now for the pesky matter of evidence. The NWO conspiracy relies on misinterpretation and misinformation rather than concrete facts. To be sure, there are global institutions like the United Nations, World Bank, or the International Monetary Fund, which sometimes fuel these theories due to their transnational influence, but the claim they're part of a shadowy, all-controlling entity veers into fiction. Over the years, various groups have been accused of being part of this NWO, including, of course, the Illuminati, the Freemasons, but also the Bilderberg Group and the Bohemian Club, to name just a few. There's even a niche theory attributing the NWO to reptilian overlords. And let's not forget the numerous celebrities, politicians, and business tycoons who've been named as members. And therein lies the paradox of the New World Order conspiracy theory. Its very vagueness makes it resistant to disproval. For every piece of evidence debunked, a new one arises like a conspiracy theory hydra. Yet, despite the resilience and seductiveness of these theories, there's a glaring lack of credible, verifiable evidence to back up any of them. It's like the ultimate detective story, with an elusive villain, secret codes, and countless plot twists. Yet, one might argue, it distracts us from addressing the real, concrete challenges our world faces today. So keep your eyes peeled, your skepticism healthy, and always remember, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And, as of now, the case for the New World Order remains, at best, extraordinarily murky. Here are some of the more popular conspiracy theories suggesting the NWO's influence. The creation of the United Nations in 1945. Conspiracists assert that the UN was created as part of the NWO's plan to gradually institute a single world government. The implementation of the euro in 1999. Some theorists argue that the introduction of a single European currency is a step towards a one world currency controlled by the NWO. The 9/11 attacks of 2001. According to some, the NWO orchestrated the 9/11 terrorist attacks as a pretext to curtail civil liberties and strengthen their control. The formation of the European Union in 1957. Much like the UN theory, some believe the EU is part of the NWO's plan to consolidate political power into supranational organizations. Globalization of trade. Organizations such as the World Trade Organization, International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank are alleged tools of the NWO, manipulating global economies to serve their interests. The global financial crisis of 2007-2008. As with the Illuminati, some believe the NWO deliberately caused the financial crisis to increase their control over world economies. The spread of Freemasonry and other secret societies. These groups are often seen as front organizations or tools of the NWO, infiltrating various sectors of society to further their agenda. The COVID-19 pandemic. In a recent twist, some theorists suggest that the pandemic is an NWO plot to control or even reduce the world's population. Climate change and the Green New Deal. Some conspiracists argue that the NWO uses the threat of climate change to justify worldwide economic manipulation and control. And of course, the introduction of 5G technology. There's a conspiracy theory suggesting that 5G technology is a tool of the NWO for surveillance and mind control. To the uninitiated, we Freemasons might seem a bastion of shadowy intrigue, but the truth, as so often, is far more pedestrian. So let's start with the basics. Freemasonry is one of the world's oldest and largest fraternal organizations. It originated in the late 16th or early 17th century and is known for its elaborate rituals, moral philosophy, and community service. There is no overarching global Masonic authority. Rather, Freemasonry is a loose confederation of independent lodges and jurisdictions. The decentralized nature of the organization itself makes it highly improbable for it to act as a unified global force, as conspiracy theories often suggest. Now, on to the Illuminati and New World Order connections. Yes, the Bavarian Illuminati, founded by Weishaupt in 1776, did recruit from Masonic lodges. But it's important to remember that the Illuminati were suppressed and disbanded less than a decade after their formation. Any claims of their continued existence are mere speculation, unsupported by any credible historical or contemporary evidence. As for the NWO, Freemasonry's core tenets of moral uprightness, fraternity, and service hardly align with the dystopian world domination plans attributed to this mythical entity. Additionally, the NWO theory lacks specificity, with no clear identification of its members, making it impossible to establish any tangible connection with any organization, let alone with Freemasonry. The accusations associating Freemasonry with these groups often rely on symbols, taken out of context, to create a narrative of conspiracy. For instance, the all-seeing eye, a symbol used by both Freemasons and depicted on US currency, is frequently claimed as clear evidence of a connection. But symbols are not proof. They're interpretive, and their meaning can change based on context. Furthermore, of course, no conclusive evidence has ever been presented to substantiate claims of Freemasonry's involvement in global conspiracies. Despite numerous investigations over centuries, including by governments suspicious of their activities, no conspiracy has ever been proven. As Sherlock Holmes once said, "When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth." In this case, it seems the truth is far less thrilling than fiction. So, after all of that, are the Freemasons part of the Illuminati or the New World Order? Based on the lack of concrete evidence and the logical inconsistencies in these theories, I think it's safe to say that that's a resounding no. As much as some might enjoy painting Freemasonry as a cloak and dagger cabal, the reality is probably far more akin to a community service club with fancy dress.